How's it going, everybody? Welcome to Like-Minded Lunatics. Thank you for joining us. This is another episode of Like-Minded Lunatics Try. The segment is very simple. That's where we get together with folks who we really like and we try new things. Now, let me be clear. This is not a fear factor thing. We genuinely want to try things that we might like. If we don't like it, that's fine, but we might or might not. And I'm joined today by Todd and Brooke and Jim. And Todd, why don't you tell us what we are trying today?
Right on. Hey, guys. We have got, and you can see it on Mark's screen right there. I'm excited about this one. I've never had it before. We are going the Enchilada Fiesta from what? Nighthawk? Nighthawk. Yeah, this is very exciting. And Mark, you picked this one. Before we hear from our friends here today, can you tell us a little bit about why you picked this one?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think I've mentioned this before on an episode. I actually wanted to pick patio TV dinners. They are no longer in business, and the reason why I wanted to choose them was because when I was working at Walden Books like 20 years ago, every night I would have a patio TV dinner when I went to bed, and after a couple of weeks, I thought I might have cancer because my poop was bright red. And so I went to the doctor and she asked me what I was eating. And I told her every night, patio TV dinner, stop doing that. And so I wanted to try another one of those TV dinners. I haven't had one since then. They're no longer in business, probably because they make your shit red. But this is the closest I could find.
I'm excited. I hope the Nighthawk folks are watching.
Well, Mark, thank you for this, for hoping that we all have problems with our stool. I want to thank you.
I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And like my lunatic, Brooke is with us. Now, Brooke, we are going to evaluate these things. We are all, at least at one point in our lives, professional evaluators, professors. So can you talk to us about how we're going to evaluate these things?
Sure. So we're going to use a scale like we would if we were grading a paper. We've all graded papers. So I'll start with an F. So the worst possible grade that this could get is an F. It doesn't, you have to stop eating it. You're really feeling like you're going to vomit. Something really bad is going to happen if you keep eating it. A D would be a little bit better than that. It's not really, I mean, it's passable, but it's not great. There's no real redeeming features, but there's nothing that's like tragically horrible about it. A C is middle of the road, passable. It basically looks like the picture when you cook it. It basically tastes like maybe you would eat it again, but you're not going to look forward to it. That would be a C. B is going to be a little bit above average. Again, we're going to look at the picture. We're going to evaluate how close to the picture it really looks. What were the expectations? Maybe some of the expectations are above what we expected. So like maybe the refried beans are good, but the rice is not. Or one or two of the elements works, but the others don't for whatever reason. And then an A is going to be above average. So this is way more than what we expected. And we would buy this and eat it again and again and again. So there you go.
And here's the thing that I want to ask everybody. So in case you're unaware, folks, we all live in the San Antonio, Austin area. These three folks, San Antonio natives. I lived in San Antonio for 10 years, and we have had incredible Tex-Mex food for no money. I mean, to go to a Tex-Mex place and pay more than $8 to $9 for an enchilada plate is insane in San Antonio. Yeah. So I'm wondering, and I want y'all's opinion, should we handicap this? My inclination is to say, would you like this in Ohio? You know what I mean? Or I want to know what y'all think.
That's a great point. And, I was thinking before we came on here, if I know that we have a couple of international subscribers and folks who aren't from this area or even from this country, and maybe they're not as familiar with the enchilada as we are. But for folks who are not familiar with the enchilada dinner, Jim and I, before COVID, Jim and I were going to a Mexican restaurant every Friday and having enchiladas, trying them around town. This is like a passionate food for some of us, including
me. And what was
me.
the price point on that, Todd? How much did you pay?
Yeah, I think if you get a cheese enchilada plate, rice and beans, a dozen flour tortillas, and a margarita, $12 probably for all that.
Yeah, that's with the drink included. I want to make a quick point here. So these are Tex-Mex enchiladas, so they're very different from the Mexican enchiladas. So en means in English, right? And chili means like in a chili dish. So they literally take chilies in Mexico and grind them up and create a sauce out of those chilies. Whereas Tex-Mex enchiladas are a gravy. It starts with the roux. They add all the different spices and so forth. So there, for anybody who may not know or may not be from this region, Tex-Mex enchiladas are a thing of their own. They're different from what you would get in Mexico.
And the cheese is also different, correct? So we have friends who are from California, some folks in Arizona. They're likely familiar with really good cheese. Jim, what is the cheese that typically goes into a San Antonio enchilada?
Two kinds. One more common is your good old-fashioned American cheese. I used to work in a Tex-Mex restaurant, and it's this gelatinous kind of hunk, and they put it through a shredder. And because it's so gelatinous, it gets stuck sometimes. You have to take it out. And yeah, and what they do, they actually keep it almost frozen. That way they can shred it. You may get sometimes cheddar cheese. And I do like a cheddar, or you'll get a blend of the cheddar and the American together. So it just depends. But usually in San Antonio, unless you ask for it, you're more than likely going to get good old-fashioned American cheese.
A lot of people I don't think understood that. We have friends from California. They're like, we can't get any good enchiladas with good cheese. It all has American cheese. Those are the good ones. Those are the good ones. Those are the ones that I want.
And you really want a good one is they burn it a little bit. And then you guys can back me up when the top layer is burned. That's usually a sign of some really great enchiladas here in San Antonio.
And I love that we're going with the cheese enchilada with the beef gravy, because that's sort of the classic, right? It's like if you're going to try a slice of pizza in New York, you get a cheese slice, a plain, just to see what they got going. What's the basics? And then you can build from there. Like I love enchiladas verde, and I love, a chicken enchilada, but this classic cheese, I got to say, I am super excited. I have high hopes. I want to give my first A on a Like Minded Lunatics Try.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. And when you made an interesting point earlier, Todd, you had said a thing about Ohio. And so I used to live in Ohio.
That's why I said that.
Pay, back then, this is in the 90s, right? You were paying $10 for an enchilada plate when in San Antonio, they were still $3.99 a plate in the 90s. And they were horrible. They were not good. So I'll try to kind of channel some of that Ohio 1990s era enchiladas, and then I'll consider that in my grade too. So you brought up a really good point there.
All right. Well, Jim, why don't you tell us how we should make this thing? We have, I'll say I have botched the prep on these before, so I'm going to pay close attention, and then let's go cook, and let's put some of this in our bellies.
All right, fellas, I'm reading here. And madame. Remove meal from carton. Cut a slit in the film and microwave on high for 3 minutes. Remove film and stir beans. Replace film in microwave on high for an additional 1.5 to 2 minutes or until 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Remove and let sit for 1 to 3 minutes before serving. Now, here's a big one. Do not prepare in a toaster oven. Do not.
Was that a threat? I don't think that there was any.
My first inclination
danger of that.
Not to put it in a microwave or toaster oven, but just in case anybody was worried about that, do not do that.
That's bolded on the box too.
Well, and I like the kind of admonishment that you should be careful to avoid escaping steam. Like, don't stick your face in it when you're opening the plastic off the tray.
Yeah, and the syntax is interesting there. Escaping steam. It's like the steam really doesn't want to be there.
But I mean, that's a danger that I can understand. When you're drunk and you're looking at this thing, you're like, I'm going to get right in there. And then you burn your eyes to bits. Yeah.
And just what I want to make is it's only 370 calories.
Yeah.
It's low cal. So,
but it's 45% of your daily sodium intake. So
I'm on high blood pressure meds. I don't care.
Look at all that fiber. Look at all that fiber.
54%.
I take enough fiber, Todd. I take enough fiber.
Folks, you should see Mark at work. Comical amounts of fiber pills that he is shoving into his body.
Shaking as he does it.
With anger.
I take 5 big pills 5 times a day.
Yeah.
My fiber content is off the scale.
So maybe your red poop has nothing to do with these dinners. If you're taking 5 fiber pills, there's something wrong with you, bro.
That's why I take them, so I don't get the red poop, Jim.
You know what? This is making me realize, and then we should go cook. This is making me realize that we need a new segment on Like Minded Lunatics. Live healthy the Mark way. And you can show us like all the things not to do that you've done in the past, because you have a great story about some kind of health drink for working out that made your skull itch. Like,
It
I want to
was
hear
a
that.
pill. It was Stacker 3. And
Stacker.
I can only imagine that that's what meth feels like, because when I took it, it felt like ants were stinging my head.
Yes. I mean,
Imagine.
And so I was scratching all the time because it felt like I had ants crawling on me.
all right. Well, let's go cook. We should go cook, and then we should talk about what we're drinking, because we've made some intentional choices on the beverage today as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Let's go cook some food, dude.
All right.
All right,
Enjoy
thanks.
this montage, folks.
All right.
Man.
Oh,
This
man.
actually smells pretty good. I'm
Looking
excited.
good.
All right. So let's talk beverages before, as we're getting ourselves ready.
Yeah, man.
I was so impressed. The last time we had a sit down where we needed a fork or a fork and knife, and Brooke rocking the cloth napkin. I remember to rock a cloth napkin as well.
I have a scrap of paper towel. Look at
It's like you blew your nose with half and threw half of it away or something.
If a
What
paper
happened?
towel represented a person, that's the perfect paper towel to represent you, Mark. I gotta say, a scrap of paper towel and that
One
shape
ply.
reminds me of you. If I had to pick a person, it would be that. It would be you in that paper towel.
That's
And maybe
incredibly astute, because I've had it wadded in my pocket, and I feel like as a person, I've been wadded up and put in someone's pocket. So I feel that.
I can see that.
You know, I'm gonna. Okay, a little psychology here. I'm gonna say this actually represents me pretty well too, because although it looks fancy, there's really not much to it. It's paper thin. It only lasts you about 3 washes.
Well, this one sums me up. It's from Costco. Kirkland's.
Yep.
Perfectly square,
Practical.
practical, disposable.
Oh,
It's me. It's me.
Those are all adjectives I have used to describe you in the past.
And I don't want to go into the psychology. I got this at a thrift store. I thought it was pretty, and I felt like I needed it for this experience to kind of zhuzh up the experience.
zhuzh it a little bit.
Is it?
Is it?
Hmm.
All right, now for this experience, I thought it would make sense to have a beverage that sort of paired well with the meal.
Mm.
In terms of what would be delicious with it, but also like in terms of like how fancy it is. So I've got a pretty nice tequila here, Tres Amigos, but I got some Sprite and
What
no
does that
ice.
mean? What does tres amigos mean?
I believe it's French,
Huh.
and I think it's something to do with the Great Depression. I didn't look into
Is
it.
it Louisiana French or Metropolitan French?
Yeah.
There are, Jim, there are a plethora of meanings for Three Amigos. Yeah.
I think it's a Steve Martin movie.
That's true.
Okay, what are you guys drinking?
So I started off with a Vamonos from Real Ale. It's a sour goza.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
great. But then when I was cooking, I decided, hey, like Brooke, let's zhuzh it up. So I made a chilada. So I've got about 2 ounces of lime. I've got some Worcestershire, some Cholula, some mango habanero salt that I threw in there. It's a good drink, you guys. It's a good drink.
Well, I'm drinking. I had some Humidor silver. I have a shot of that, and I have some squirt. And in Spanish, it's sometimes called esquirt. And together, this is called a Cuba or a Cuba, and it's pretty delicious.
Nice.
Nice.
And I am the only one not drinking an alcoholic beverage.
Ooh.
Somebody's got to keep this train on the rails. I'm drinking just a diet soda,
Diet Cola, HEB Cola.
HEB cola.
Cola.
Now, we're talking about napkins. I feel that cola describes you, Brooke. Tastes just as good. Tastes just as good, but without the brand name.
I feel like
Okay, thanks. I guess. Thank you.
it's like borderline inappropriate. We're gonna have to look back at this.
Okay, sorry.
Mm.
All right. Now, what we like to do here is just talk about what it looks like, what it smells like. Mark, you already alluded to the fact that you kind of like the smell. So why don't you start for us? What's the look? What are you thinking here?
So I feel pretty confident that the enchiladas are at least going to be something I think I will like. They've got the great, I don't know if they can pick it up on the camera here, but it's got the great crustiness around the side. And like Jim was talking about, when they put enchiladas under a salamander at a good Mexican food restaurant, that's what you get. I am, however, concerned about the rice. I don't know what the rice is going to do. I don't know. I smell chili and I smell cumin, but I don't know what the rice is going to do.
It kind of looks like tapioca to me, like a dry tapioca.
The consistency is
just the consistency is not right.
Yes, it's a dyed rice pudding.
And it's too wet.
It's too wet.
Very
It's
wet.
like the condensation from keeping the film on it just made it too wet, kept it too wet. I don't like that.
I agree. Even, because this is a 2-part cook. Even after that first part of the cook, I took it out and peeled back the plastic, and I was seeing that rice is going to be my least favorite. Just in terms of texture, it's mush. But I agree, Mark. I'm excited about the enchilada. Of course, being spoiled on good, inexpensive San Antonio enchiladas, my portion would be about 4 times this. At a restaurant. This is a small portion, but I'm going to go on taste alone. I'm hoping the taste is good. Yeah. Jim, what do you think?
I think it looks good. I'm really excited about the beans and the enchiladas as well. I like the tortilla looks right, for a frozen meal. But again, I'm just scared with that rice.
Yeah, scared with that rice. Brooke, how you feeling about all this?
Well, I'm agreeing with the rice. I'm a little disturbed by it. And the beans, actually, when I stirred them per the directions, they looked okay once they were stirred. But now that they've been sitting for a few minutes while we've been talking, they're getting a weird consistency over here, and I'm not sure.
You know what that is? That's just they're getting a little crusty. When you have the beans on the back burner.
I don't think you can see it very well, but they're getting like holes in them, like it's deflating or something. I don't know.
Dude, check your box.
Around.
Maybe.
I don't know.
It's turned.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, I'm excited about the beans. I'm hoping the beans are good. I love I don't know if there's pork fat in these, but
I doubt it. There's only one way to find out.
All right, are we ready to eat, guys?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm going enchiladas first.
Okay.
I'm going rice first.
I'm going to do rice first with you, Brooke. I'm going to take the disappointing one first.
Ooh, it's not as bad as it could be.
Oh, okay.
I could have like 4 more of these enchiladas.
Yeah.
I can already tell you, you're right, Todd. The portion is going to be too small.
Yeah. Well, I'm having the rice first. And I have to say, although the texture is not great, the taste is there. I'm used to that. I'm used to that heavy tomato flavor is coming through.
I don't taste any.
Pleasantly surprised at all of this.
So the rice in the beans, but they're not bad.
Yeah. Well, and Jim, you've actually worked in a Tex-Mex restaurant. Being set up like this, I feel like every restaurant I've ever been in the back of house, you see beans just set up like this. That's just what they.
Yeah. And ever so often they have the line, and your refried beans have a big tub of it, and they dry out, but they just put water in it and just kind of rehydrate them. So I'm okay with it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, I don't mind a dry bean if I'm doing like a bean and cheese taco.
Yeah. Brooke, I know you're not completely vegetarian, but you don't do a lot of meat. Have you tried the meat sauce on the enchilada yet? Where are you at?
Yeah, I've taken a couple bites of the enchilada, and I actually don't taste a whole lot of meat. So I don't know if that's just my sensibilities or I haven't gotten to any, but that was one of the things I was concerned about was, reconstituted microwave beef sauce, but it's not bad.
I can tell you this. There used to be a restaurant in London called Republic of Texas.
London, Texas?
What's that?
London, Texas or London, England?
London, England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It was called the Republic of Texas, and it was started by 2 guys from Texas. So they would have Mexican food in England. You would pay about 30 pounds for an enchilada meal. And this is better than the 30. And 30 pounds is like 50 American dollars.
Yeah.
This is better than that.
It's interesting that you say that because living in New York for 2 years, of course, I tried some amazing foods, had really great Indian food. And of course, international, it's an international town. But there was only one Tex-Mex joint that I knew of, and it was in Chelsea. And we went, and it was one of those where they would make guacamole at the table. And in San Antonio, you're used to this kind of thing. But they had white wine margaritas, and the enchiladas were not right. They were trying to do kind of I think more of an interior Mexico kind of thing, but the rest of the fare was sort of Tex-Mex. It's crazy to me how few places you can go for this meal.
Mm-hmm. And it's not hard, and the ingredients are not rare. That's one of the things.
Right.
So like doing, puerco pibil or something like that, you have to find annatto, you have to find achiote, you have to be able to find some of these ingredients, and they're oftentimes hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
Like to make a roux-based chili gravy, not hard. Anyone in the world can do that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree. I don't know why it's so difficult for people to do this. I'm enjoying this.
I'm done. I didn't finish all my rice, but all my beans and my enchiladas, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the South Texas school enchiladas on Wednesdays. Do y'all remember those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just missing the cornbread. They always had cornbread.
And they give you a cornbread a slice of cornbread on the side in a little plastic container. Yep. And man, this is what it tastes like. It's on par, which they're not bad. I mean, they're not great. It's from school, but it's pretty darn good. I used to eat them. I look forward to enchilada day.
I feel like all the flavors are right. I could be picky about the texture. I could be picky about the portion, but I'm not offended by anything.
The rice has too much cumin. I don't know. And I grew up eating a lot of cumin, or comino as we call it, and French. And it's overwhelming to me. It's too much on the rice.
Here's my question, Jim. You are not the first, Latino person that I've heard that from. Like,
I'm Latinx, sir.
All right. Whatever. Shut up. I've had
I like how you were trying to be respectful, and then when that didn't work, you just set fire to the plan.
That's right. But I've talked to several people that are like you that just don't like cumin. Is that like a generational thing that you?
I don't know. Like my mother to this day still cooks, and she has her powdered cumin that she puts in everything. Uh-huh. And there's just a smell that kind of smells like I don't know, like underarms to me. I don't know. I associate the smell of cumin with underarms, and I don't like it. I don't. If I have a recipe or something that calls for cumin, I'll cut it in half. Like when I make my homemade enchilada sauce, I put a little bit in there, but I don't like to smell it, to taste it. Just enough, just so it's kind of there's a hint of it. But I don't like when there's a lot of cumin in my food.
And see, I go the opposite way. I toast my own seeds and grind them because I think it's more pungent.
All right. Who's brave enough to go first on the grading?
I will.
Do it.
I got to say, I'm going to give this a B. This is probably the best one we've had so far. Mm-hmm. I really like it. Is it excellent? Is it amazing where I'm like, I can't wait to eat it? No. But if I had a long day at work, or let's say for some reason I'm working late, everybody in the house already ate, I would not mind opening. I'd probably have to eat 2 of these. Mm-hmm. But I would eat 2 of these and kind of look forward to it. So I'm giving this a solid B, 85, right on the nose, strong B, very good, better than average. I got to say, it's not bad.
And is that a San Antonio B or an Ohio B?
It's a San Antonio B, probably a Ohio A-.
Wow.
San Antonio B, I think it's that good. I really think it's good.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great call. I was just saying, like, hard to find in New York, like enchiladas like ours. Also, like going to Kansas City, there are pockets in Kansas City and Topeka, Kansas, where you have folks making pretty decent Mexican food. But this enchilada is way better than any of that too. So good call, Brooke. What are you thinking on this grade?
Well, Todd, I'm a little on the fence. I've been really concerned about when it's going to be my turn to grade. This is like the, paper at the end of the semester. It's like at the bottom of the stack that you're like kind of on the fence about, and you want to see what the other papers are doing. If I was living in Georgia, which I did for a while, I would probably grade this higher than I would. My San Antonio grade is a little lower. I'm thinking probably a low B for the Georgia version of my grade. It hits on all the points. It's passable. It's good. But for a San Antonio grade, I'd probably give it around a C, just an average C. I'm still not really liking the mouthfeel of the rice. I'm not offended by the flavor profile, but the mouthfeel of the rice is bothering me. And then as the beans cooled a little bit, their consistency, I don't know, again, maybe I have like a defective version of this or something, but they did something. So I'd go mid-C for the San Antonio grade.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be kind of in line with you guys. I was really surprised in terms of flavor, how much I enjoyed this. I mean, my only critique really is there's not enough of it. And so I'm going to say that, if this were not good, I wouldn't have thought to say that. So that must mean something good. We are spoiled. If you love a San Antonio enchilada, we are spoiled because you can go to 87 places and get something that's a little better than what we have right here. But from my freezer, I'm impressed. I'm going to go my highest so far. I'm going to go B+ on this one. I'm going to say like an 87, 88. Really tasty. I want it to be bigger, and give that rice a separate little container so it can stay a little drier, please. Yeah. No, what's wrong with that? That'd be easy to do. Everything else is really moist and yummy, but let's keep the rice by itself. I'm going B+. Mark, where are you with this?
I'm exactly the same as you. And the thing that's concerning to me is that I think we've had a Nighthawk already, and they had a trifold style thing. So there's no reason why they couldn't have put that barrier there. I'm going B+ because of the rice. If the rice had been separate, I think it would be an A- all day long. I would gladly get red poop for this. So I think that it would be a high B, low A for me.
I think Nighthawk is going to,
Do you think, I'm sorry, Todd, Mark, if your old North Central Texas self from the Waco area, where I have family from, the Mexican food there is Tex-Mex food's a little different. Do you think that the San Antonio Austin Mark would give it a different grade from the North Central Texas Mark?
I don't think so, because like Todd said, there's a ton of restaurants we could do this at, but from my freezer, I think San Antonio Mark would be the exact same way. If I am too drunk to go to Mama Margie's or Las Palapas or Chacho's, if I'm too drunk for that, A+.
Mm-hmm. And while you're saying that, like one of Mark and Jim and I's first bonding experiences was at Chacho's at a work lunch. I think as soon as we are back out in the world again, the four of us, and maybe we scoop up Ricky as well, need to go to Chacho's and film some shenanigans, because that would be a wonderful thing.
I 100% agree.
Show the picture if you could. If you could show the picture, that would be great.
I'll pop that up over here in the middle somewhere. We'll pop that up there.
Now, is that the one where, Mark, you have a little bit of a coif to your short hair in that one?
Yeah. No, it's fancy looking. It's not hippie rednecky. But
that was like circa 2012, and I had hair in that picture.
Oh.
So I want to say that, that's probably one of my greatest hits right there.
All right. Mark, any last comments before we wrap up? This was a good one.
I think the only thing that I will say is that this is the fourth one of the Like-Minded Lunatics tries that we've filmed thus far. I'm going to put these out in, one after the other. And then once we start filming again, it's going to be in live. We're going to do live stuff. We're going to try things live. And so if you enjoy this content, please make sure you check out upcoming Like-Minded Lunatics tries, because it'll be a lot more dynamic.
Absolutely. We've been so excited to roll this one out. And not only are we going to be in person for some of these and trying other things besides TV dinners, things that are a little more active, but we also want to involve our like-minded lunatic community and reach out to folks who are subscribers and who are friends to do some of this as well. Because you probably get tired of seeing Mark. I mean, not Jim and Brooke, and I'm okay, but
I get tired of me.
Let's get some.
You've been one of my best friends for 15 years, and damn it, I'm tired of you. I need new friends.
Yeah. Jim's just defriended me on Facebook. That way, he doesn't have to see my updates.
And folks should please hit that subscribe button if they haven't done so already to Like-Minded Lunatics and become one of the wacky folks here with us. Degenerate loser a-holes, let's call us. But also, we are not just on YouTube. We are also on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on Twitter. Mark's fancy. He'll put a thing up. And please become a part of this growing band of weirdos. Mark, last comments? Or are we done?
I don't think so. Wrap it up for us, Todd.
All right. Well, we are Mark, Jim, Brooke, and Todd. This is Like-Minded Lunatics Try, the best one yet, the enchiladas. See ya.